Hello and welcome to a quick overview to the Agile for Patriots 2025 program for cohort 11. My name is Ravi Verma and I will guide you through this introduction. Let's give you a quick overview of the agenda. I'll tell you what is the purpose of this presentation, what I'm hoping to accomplish. I'll tell you who we are, why we exist, who is our target audience, how do we help them, what's our 2025 schedule, what's the path to graduation, what are some risks you should be aware of, and how you can make an informed choice about whether this program is right for you or not, and some possible next steps. So what's the purpose of the presentation? The purpose is to help you make an informed choice about whether this program might help you meet your career goals or not. I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm also not trying to sugarcoat what our program is all about. It's a very demanding program. I believe it's a great program, but it's very demanding and it's not for everyone. My hope is that if you go through this information session and our Q&A session, and let's say you choose to apply for the program, you join the program, fast forward May 16th, 2025, you're graduating, and maybe this program is not what you were hoping for. I hope that you will be able to tell me, Ravi, it wasn't what I was hoping for, but you did everything in your power to educate me. And you told me everything you could possibly have told me so that I made an informed choice. That is the standard to which I am holding myself. And that is the purpose of this introduction. Okay. So who are we? We are a Dallas-based nonprofit. We are an all-volunteer nonprofit. We don't get any kind of money from any government agency. In fact, we struggle to raise funds. So if you have money to donate or know somebody, please tell them to help us out. We have very limited capabilities. Most of us have full-time jobs, and we take time out of our jobs to give back because we are truly grateful to military families, but we have limitations in terms of our capabilities. So I'm just requesting your grace and forgiveness in case you expect very fast responses, or if you expect the same level of response as you might have compared to a government-funded organization or an organization which has very deep pockets. We might not be able to meet those expectations. So please realize we are an all-volunteer organization trying our best. So please give us grace and forgiveness if we are not as fast or responsive as some of the other organizations. When we say patriot, we mean a US military veteran or spouse. When we say agile, we are referring to the ability to create and respond to change. The world is uncontrollable. Ultimately, what we need to do is, when we are faced with an uncontrollable and an uncertain world, and which has lots of turbulence, we need to find a way to respond to that uncertainty, which is outside our sphere of control. So it's a three-step process: understand what's going on in the environment, figure out where the uncertainty is going to come from, and figure out how you're going to adapt. Chances are, if you're part of the military family, this has been your life. If you've been deployed, chances are you get deployed, you have a mission, things are changing fast, you figure out what are the sources of threats, what are opportunities, and you figure out how you respond. If you're a military spouse, it's probably the same. One day, probably your husband or your wife, your partner comes and says, honey, we got to move, bye-bye. And then they go off, and then it's your job to now relocate the family or deal with this change. So chances are you have been living in an agile way without realizing it. Specifically, agile software development is an umbrella term. What do I mean by umbrella? Think about mobile phones as an umbrella. So mobile phones have certain shared characteristics. You could have a Samsung mobile phone or an Apple mobile phone, but ultimately they all fall under the umbrella of mobile phones. So agile software development frameworks are similar. Do you have an umbrella term? All of these frameworks must adhere to the 4 values of the Agile Manifesto and the 12 principles of the Agile movement. And you will have access to the PDF version of these slides with clickable links. So you'll be able to click on some of these and continue your learning if you so choose after watching this video. There's something very different about Agile software development. This is important for you to make an informed choice about whether our program and perhaps this line of work is right for you or not. Agile companies, they focus on people relationships more than other things, because they figure that if you take care of the people and take care of relationships, smart, motivated people are going to find out the best way to solve the problem. In particular, agile organizations focus on self-organization and cross-functionality. So agile organizations believe that if you set a mission, the team is going to come up with solutions which will evolve over time in response to an uncontrollable, unpredictable world through two foundational pillars, which is cross-functionality and self-organization. Self-organization means the team figures out what's the best way to solve the problem. The people closest to the work will figure out what's the best way to do the work. Cross-functionality means the team has the skills needed to get the job done. It doesn't mean everyone in the team can do everything, but it means that overall the team has all the skills that they need to achieve the mission. Similar to perhaps military squads. You have a squad, and the organization tries the best to make it cross-functional, give them all the skills they need, they get deployed. They don't have the ability or the luxury to contact command and control or headquarters every second in the face of a rapidly evolving, turbulent, uncertain situation to call management back home in headquarters and say, what should I do? Management gives them certain parameters or constraints within which they are empowered to do what needs to get done to achieve the mission. Agile teams are similar. Managers play a different role potentially in agile teams than other organizations. They make sure the team members have the skills they need. If they don't have the skills, they will maybe approve some training, maybe they approve hiring of some new team members with the skills, and they are really stewards of the environment. So the goal of a manager on an agile organization is to be a steward of the environment, which allows the team to figure out the best solutions in an uncontrollable, unpredictable world. And then they step back and they let the teams work their magic. When the team gets stuck, that's when the agile manager steps back in as a coach, as a servant leader to help the team get unstuck and then step back again. So let's talk about our leadership. I told you what we mean when we say Agile for Patriots. I told you what is Agile. I told you who we think is a patriot, or who we refer to as a patriot. Now let's talk about our leadership. So I'm the co-founder of Agile for Patriots. I'm the president and CEO. The buck stops with me. Janie Purvis is a military spouse. She's VP of Program Management. Red Davidson is our treasurer. Blake McMillan, VP of Training. Eric Neighborg, VP of Marketing. And Don McGrill is our advisor. Greg Gomel is my friend, who was my co-founder. Without him, we would not exist. He has now stepped down from the board, but his presence is here. Without him, we wouldn't have this organization. The reason I'm sharing our leadership team is so that you can look us up on LinkedIn, you can look at our track record, and ultimately you can decide, are we worthy of your trust? Are we serious people? Do we say what we do? And do we do what we say? Why do we exist? Our mission is to prepare veterans and spouses for agile careers. And the way we achieve our mission is through training, coaching, certification, and practical experiencing using Scrum. Our vision is that our graduates are employed with fulfilling roles in the agile space in a tech organization. Our vision is that our graduates will be sought after in the industry when people get stuck and somebody says, hey, who do we talk to? We would love for your name to come up in the conversation. We would love for you to receive multiple unsolicited contacts from recruiters who are so impressed by your profile that they're asking you if you would consider joining their company. We would love for you to get at least one job offer every quarter. And we don't want you to have to worry about getting a great job as long as you choose to be in the industry. That is our vision, and that is our true north. So who is our ideal candidate or applicant? So US military veterans and spouses who want to build fulfilling careers in the agile technology space. The eligibility requirements are you must be an honorably discharged veteran or active duty service member who is about to separate within 1 year of applying to our program, or you are in the National Guard or Reservist, in which case separation or retirement date is not a factor, or you are a spouse of one of these three types of people. When you apply, you must prove your eligibility by submitting your DD-214 unless you have not yet separated, you've not retired, you don't have a DD-214, so you can submit proof of service, or you are reservist or in the National Guard, you don't have a DD-214, okay, submit proof of service, or you don't have separation orders, we will accept your proof of request of separation signed by your command. and make sure that you black out your social security number. So what are the cultural attributes of your ideal participant? Super important, because there are some very strong, non-negotiable behavioral expectations. And I want to be very transparent, because if this does not match your core values, your belief system, you'll be unhappy. You're not going to be a good fit. And it'll be a waste of your time. It's about 5.5 months. It's not 5.5 months in calendar duration. And we are looking at, in terms of the number of days, we are looking at 16 days in the practicum and 6 days of training. So we're looking at 22 days spread over 5.5 months. It's a significant investment. And you'll have to behave in alignment with certain values and principles. And I want to be very transparent about what these are, so that you can compare and contrast these with your core values and principles. And if it's not a match, I would rather that you opt out of this program. So you should be interested in pursuing a career in companies that use an agile approach. You should align with our AFP creed and participation commitment. So please go to our website, read our cultural expectations, behavioral expectations that are listed in the creed and the participation commitment. Make sure you're okay doing this for, like I said, 22 days. You can't fake it for 22 days. It's going to be hard. You have integrity. We want to be able to depend on you. You say something, you do it. You did something, say it. Say what you do what you say. You've got to be detail oriented. There are lots of details in this video. There will be details in the application process. There'll be details when you work on an agile team. You've got to pay attention to details, because if you don't, someone else has to clean up after you. And we don't have people in Agile for Patriots to clean up. We get hundreds of applications. If you don't pay attention to details, you may not make it through the program. Similarly, on agile teams and agile organizations, if you're not detail oriented, you may not succeed. You've got to be punctual. We've almost had to let people go because they were consistently, chronically late. Please don't disrespect other people's time. You've got to show up ideally before time. If there's an emergency, we'll work with you. But if there are 22 emergencies in a 22-day program, then this is not a good fit. You've got to be able to work collaboratively in a diverse team of equals. You may have had a very high rank in the military. Doesn't matter. In the civilian space, everybody's equal. So if you're not able or willing to forget your rank and treat everybody as an equal, irrespective of their gender, age, ethnicity, personality, values, or beliefs, then this is not the right program for you. You've got to be able to accept when you make a mistake, own it, apologize, make it right without blaming others. In fact, this is likely going to be one of the questions in the application and the interview. Tell me about a time when you let yourself down. What did you learn? How did you improve? If you're not able to look in the mirror and give an honest, authentic answer with vulnerability, then this might not be a program for you. You can constructively and compassionately provide and receive feedback. A lot of times, teams struggle to self-organize because they harbor resentments and frustrations against each other, and they go complaining to managers and anybody who provides a sympathetic ear, but they don't go talk to the one human being who can make a difference, the person you're complaining about. So you've got to be able to both provide compassionate feedback and receive compassionate feedback so that we can all achieve the mission together. You've got to be able to ask for help. You might be great at your job, but you might be trying something completely new and you might suck at it. So you got to be okay with saying, hey, man, I'm struggling. Can you help me? Or conversely, look around. You might take to this like a fish to water. You might do a fantastic job, but you've got to take the focus away from yourself and look around and see who needs help. It's like if you're in a plane, there's turbulence, your oxygen mask comes on, you put on your mask, and then you look around, who else needs the oxygen mask, and you go help them. And finally, you got to be tech savvy. We'll be using a lot of technical tools like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, Mural, Miro, Jira, Azure DevOps. We're not expecting you to be an expert, but you've got to be able to pick things up. And if that's a struggle for you, this might be a struggle as well, this program. So what are the barriers stopping our ideal participant? They apply for a job. This recruiter says, hey, are you trained and certified? And if the answer is no, and you don't have, money, you can't go further in the screening process. Or the recruiter asks, hey, do you have experience with agile tools? Where have you used agile in the real world high pressure situation? Or where have you worked in an agile team under high pressure? And or you're one of 400 people who apply for a job, and the recruiter is trying to figure out which of these 400 shall I interview. and there's nothing that is setting you apart from the others. You don't have an online presence which is compelling. And you don't have a community to lean on because you will face challenges and you need someone trustworthy and competent that you can talk to. And you can ask them, hey, I have this problem. Have you faced this? What should I do? What would you do if you are in my place? So, not having a reliable, trustworthy, competent community could be a barrier. So, how does our program help you overcome each of these challenges? Let's talk about training and certification. We'll give you free training. By the way, our entire program is free. You don't have to pay a single dime. You just have to pay in terms of effort. So we'll give you a training, Intro to Agile. We'll give you scrum.org, Applying Professional Scrum. If you study hard, you'll get a certificate called Professional Scrum Master 1. We'll give you another training called Professional Scrum Product Backlog Management. And then again, you study hard, you'll get another certificate. You will actually work with Agile tools like Jira, Confluence, Slack, Zoom, and Miro. You're going to have 3 sprints of experience in a pressure cooker, and you will actually create a portfolio, proof of experience. You will create a web page for your cohort where you share what did you do, how did you do it, and you are going to provide and receive feedback. You'll have 3 cups of tea. This is a technique I created, and it will teach you how to provide and receive feedback. You will be able to differentiate yourself. You're going to get certificates you can put on your profile. We'll teach you how to post messages on LinkedIn so that you stand out among your peers when you compete for a job. And finally, you'll have a community of 10 cohorts, and the board of directors, board of advisors of Agile for Patriots are volunteers. So if you get stuck, you have a trustworthy, competent, reliable team of people who can give you their experience and tips and tricks. So what's the design? We start with a 3-day intro to Agile. Then there's a gap. You'll have to finish some homework, take some practice exams. Then there's a 3-day course called Applying Professional Scrum. You take another exam. This is more challenging. You don't have to pass it, but you've got to just take it. Then you show up for the practicum. There'll be a 3rd course. And then there will be 12 days of practicum, like a boot camp, where you'll actually work on a team and build a simple software product. You'll have exercises you can use to resolve conflicts. You'll learn things about yourself you didn't know, or possibly things you knew, but you swept under the carpet and you didn't work on, but you're going to have to work on them. So you get a breakthrough and a great interview story. And you'll be able to post messages on LinkedIn, build a brand, a personal brand. You're going to work with your team to co-create an agreement, how you're going to treat each other, especially under high pressure situations. You're going to build a web page that proves to future recruiters, your hiring manager, that not only did you learn the theory, you applied the theory to build something. You'll participate in Scrum events. You'll share insights on LinkedIn. 2 of you will get the opportunity to be a Scrum Master and product owner, which will give you more experience, more interview stories, and you will learn about industry trends from speakers. We might get about maybe, I would say, 8 to 10 speakers from the industry who will tell you what to expect. So what's the schedule look like? Around December 2nd, we will start posting messages on social media about our program and the application process. We'll send a mail out to everyone who's on our mailing list. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to our mailing list. Jan 10th, you'll have an info session with me and other board members. You can ask us questions. Jan 13th, applications will open on our website. 13th to 24th, you can submit your applications. Then we are going to go through the applicants and we're going to see which of these people can we truly help. Who are we worthy of? And if we feel we are worthy of you, we can make a positive impact in your life. We'll let you know. You can then schedule interviews between Feb 3rd and 5th. That's when you schedule the interview, and the actual interviews are from Feb 5th to 19th. We'll do the same thing after the interviews. We'll see who are the people who we genuinely believe we can help. And those are the people, 25 of those people will be selected, and there will be 25 people on the wait list. They will attend the Intro to Agile workshop. We'll observe how things are going in Intro to Agile, and then finally, 25 finalists will make it through to Applying Professional Scrum on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then we have the practicum, which starts on May 1st and ends on May 16th. That's when you graduate. So this is a calendar view of our schedule. If you like, you can pause the screen here and look at your own calendar, see if you'll be able to manage any commitments you have over this 5.5-month period with our expectations. You please do not waste anybody's time by trying to apply. If you're going to miss more than 30 minutes during this period. So intro to Agile, Scrum or applying professional Scrum, and practicum. You cannot miss more than 30 minutes of intro to Agile, 30 minutes of applying professional Scrum, and 30 minutes in your practicum. So that's a deal breaker. If this doesn't align with your schedule, this is not the right year or the right program for you. All right, how can you graduate? During application, please pay attention to details, attach all the documents, black out your social, be truthful. You don't have to embellish. If you are a veteran or a spouse, that's it. You are eligible. Uh, Ensure all the fields are completed, complete thorough answers, complete sentences. Remember that if you don't attach a document, you don't answer a question, you have to be detail oriented. That is automatic rejection. We get hundreds of applications. We don't have the bandwidth to chase after hundreds of people, asking them, begging them, can you please submit your documents? And if you're not detail oriented, you may not succeed in the industry either. Please use your real world lived experience. It's okay to use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT doesn't know your life. So I don't mind if you start with your raw answers from your lived experience. If you want to make it professional, okay, fine. Ask ChatGPT to format it, but don't ask ChatGPT to answer on your behalf. We are not stupid. We'll figure it out and you'll get eliminated. Be clear about what kind of a job you're looking for, target industries, target companies, job titles. And when we send an email, usually you'll have 24 to 48 hours to respond. So check your spam folder, add our email addresses to the friend list so we don't get blocked. If you don't respond within 24 to 48 hours, you will not be able to move forward. What happens in interviews? So in the interviews, make sure you have a high-speed internet connection, working camera and microphone, join from a computer or tablet. If possible, please don't join from your cell phone. Uh, have a practice Zoom meeting with a friend or a family member before the interview to work out the kinks in your setup. Join from a private place if possible. Don't join from a Starbucks or an airport lounge. Join 10 minutes early. So if there are technical issues, you can sort through them. Ask the interviewers what you need. We are here to help you. So if you're feeling nervous, tell us, I'm feeling nervous, I'm scared, I'm anxious. And you don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I've made lots of mistakes here, and I'm trying to model vulnerability. So we don't expect you to be perfect. Be a human being. It's okay to say, I don't know. I really struggle with this, still working on it. Uh, it's okay to say, can I please have some time to think about, to organize your thoughts? It's okay to say, I don't understand. Can you please clarify or elaborate? Or you need something else in the interview, tell us, and we'll make it happen. What do we expect during the training? You'll have some homework you have to do by a certain deadline to be eligible for the training. So make sure you do that. Make sure that you have a good setup, high-speed internet, camera, microphone, computer, preferably two monitors. Be about 10 minutes before time. Keep your camera on at all times. If for some privacy reasons you need a waiver, you can ask for it. We've had people in the past who will join the training and they just step away and they're trying to BS us. And we ask them a question, are you there? We type a message, no response. So please don't do that. It's very disrespectful and unprofessional. If you can't attend the training, just don't apply for our program. But please don't waste our time by trying to BS us by, pretending you're on the training if you're not on the training. Attend all sessions. If you miss more than 30 minutes, you will be asked to leave the program, and honor the agreement. So together you will co-create the working agreement with your teammates and with your trainer. So please behave in alignment with what you promised, the way you promised you would behave. After the training, you'll have some homework. You might have to take some tests, and submit your proof of completing the homework. Make sure you do it by the deadline. And it's possible you'll get triggered by somebody in your class. You might get triggered by your trainer. You might get triggered by me. So work it out directly one-on-one with whoever you're having an issue with. If that doesn't work it out. Ask your trainer for help. Ask a board member for help. But ask a board member as a last resort, not as a first resort. On an agile team, you don't go running to management the first time you have a problem with someone. You try to sort it out directly. You can't sort it out, ask a buddy. You can't sort it out, maybe you ask somebody in management, but don't go running to management the first time you have a problem with someone. And then what do you do in the practicum? Same expectations as training plus a few more. It is a demanding program. You follow the Scrum framework, so you apply what you learned in training. You will have to deploy a version of your cohort web page at least once every sprint. So 3 deployments in 3 sprints. If you want to get a sense for what I'm talking about, go to Agile for Patriots and go click on the menu item called Alumni and look at the web pages of some of our recent cohorts to get a sense for what I mean here. You'll have to complete at least three feedback sessions, one-on-one feedback sessions with your cohort mates, where you provide and receive compassionate, courageous, actionable feedback on what might be holding you back in life. You will post your learning on LinkedIn, so you create an online brand and differentiate yourself. And you have to pass the PSM1 exam by 5 p.m. US Central on the Wednesday of the week of graduation. So as of now, the schedule says by May 14th. This is not an easy exam, it's a demanding exam. So it is a prerequisite for graduation. What happens after graduation? Assuming that you can still honor our participation agreement, here are some benefits. You'll have a membership in our Slack community where we have 10 cohorts of graduates waiting to support you. We also have the board members there. If there are internship opportunities, I observe the behavior of people and I offer internships to those who I feel are demonstrating the principles and values of the Agile movement. When we have job leads, we usually post it in our Slack channel. Other cohort members also do the same. We'll give you employment references if you have earned it. So you have to honor the participation agreement. And then if someone asks us, hey, how did you behave? Are you somebody that we would hire? If the answer is yes, of course, I'll get on a call, and so will other board members. We'll introduce you to our network. We'll give you free attendance to future trainings, and we'll invite you to speak at our meetups, webinars, and podcasts. What are some things that can go wrong? Here are some reasons why people have not made it all the way to graduation. They did not respond to an email on time, or they were not truthful. They didn't submit all the documents. They didn't answer all the questions. They didn't provide examples from lived experience. One suggestion is ask a family member or a friend who's detail oriented to look over your application and catch things that you might not catch. During the training, similar challenges have stopped some people. They missed an email, they didn't reply on time, they did not submit proof of completing their homework, they had a bad technical setup, they did not attend all sessions punctually, completely. They forgot that in the civilian space, everybody is equal. So, if you had a high rank in the military and then you come to our program and then you're disrespectful or patronizing towards someone who had a lower rank, or maybe like a woman, it's not going to work here. We expect you to treat everybody respectfully, irrespective of their background. So you may need to give up some habits which gave you success in the military but will not work in the civilian space. You've got to accept and provide help and feedback with love and kindness. You've got to be okay with sucking. You might have 25 years of experience and you may have reached a point where you can do things blindfolded. But now you might be trying something new that you never tried before, and you may have forgotten how horrible it feels to suck. You've got to be okay with sucking. And our job is to help you suck at the next higher level. But if you have trouble being incompetent, then this might be difficult for you. And being humbled by adversity and then giving grace and forgiveness to everybody and managing adversity with dignity. This is something that we expect. So this is something that you would rather not do, then this might not be a program. This is not easy, and none of us is good at this, but we need people who are willing to step into this discomfort. So these are some things that have impacted other people in the past. What can go wrong in certification? Some people just don't like the Scrum framework. They don't connect with it. It doesn't make sense to them. They don't understand the mindset of the person who's designing the certification exam. That exam is designed to probe whether you understand Scrum and if you can apply it in the real world. And there are some people who struggle with what are you really trying to ask me? That could be a challenge. Unable to ask for help. And I've had people in the past who struggled with passing the exam, and I told them step-by-step instructions, just go do this, and they won't do it. So if you have difficulty in asking for help, or when help is given, in accepting help, then you may struggle with certification. Not allocating enough time and space for preparation and assessment. This is not an easy assessment. So you've got to give it the respect it deserves. Don't underestimate it. And finally, if you have a bad technical setup, like your internet connection keeps dropping, you'll start the exam, it's a 60-minute exam, and then you lose the internet connection. They don't care. You won't pass the exam if you lost the internet connection. What happens after graduation? What are some risks? So it's highly likely that just because you graduate, it's not as if a whole bunch of the world's best employers is going to be lining up outside your doorstep asking you, please join my company. There will be struggle. You may not get a job immediately. You may not get enough interviews. You may have problems converting interviews to job offers. You may get a job offer, but you may realize though it's different than what we taught you in training. So it's not a bed of roses. I'm being brutally honest with you. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm trying to manage expectations so that you make an informed choice. Chances are that this program in combination with some other programs will maximize your probability of getting a job plus networking. Chances are this program alone is not going to guarantee that you get a fantastic job. So how can you decide if this is a good fit? Think about everything I told you. Talk to former graduates. Go to our website, agileforpatriots.org. Look at the pages created by the previous cohort members. Watch any other videos on our YouTube channel and ask us questions and compare us with other programs you're considering. And then see, are we worthy of 22 days of your investment over 5.5 months? And then ultimately trust your gut. Your body has wisdom that you may not realize. And your body will usually say, yeah, I think this is right for me. Let's try it. So what can you do next? Follow our LinkedIn page. And if you have, send us questions on LinkedIn, join our mailing list, contact us, and read more about the agile industry. All of these will be clickable links in a PDF document that you'll have access to. Learn about agile, Scrum. Take some free practice exams, which will give you a sneak peek into the final exam that you have to pass. So the Scrum Open and Product Owner Open. Take these exams over and over again until you score 100% and get a sense for whether your mind can kind of figure out how to crack the exam. Also, there's plenty of free training on the tools you'll be using. There are tools called Confluence, Jira, Mural, Zoom. So you'll have links to set up free accounts, free basic accounts, and then to practice using these tools before you apply for our program or join our program. Also, network. So join agile communities. There is a website called meetup.com. Go there. Look for online or local meetups in your neighborhood. Enter some keywords like Agile or Scrum. I want to recommend 3 meetups. One is Scrum Masters of the Universe. It's a completely online meetup. Some of the world's most respected Agile thinkers come and speak here. They have a YouTube channel where there are tons and tons of great videos you can start watching. Try to watch a video a day if you can. My meetup in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas is called ROI-based Agile Coaching. There's another meetup called DFW Scrum, which is run by one of our board members, Blake, who manages training. So if you happen to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we would love to see you at these meetups. So let me recap what I told you. I told you what's the purpose of the presentation. I told you about us, why we exist, who we help, how we help, what's our 2025 schedule, how you can graduate, what are some risks, how can you decide, and what can you do next. That's about it. If you feel this is a program for you, I'd love to engage with you either way. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you have done to keep all the families in our country safe and free. And I hope that I see you in one of our future info sessions. Thank you.